I've talked a lot on this channel about the, I guess, cinematic hot streak that James Cameron was on in the 1980s and 1990s. The Terminator, The Abyss, the movie we're talking about today, Aliens, Terminator 2, and then in the late 90s you had Titanic, clearly a movie that, did like gangbusters at the box office, made all the money, was extremely popular. It was in the theater for like 6 months. Basically, the guy was untouchable and couldn't be beat in those 2 decades. This would continue with Avatar in the aughts in the 2000s, and he has, if you've ever noticed, there's a bit of a connecting thread in a number of these movies, and that's the guy is like obsessed with water and the ocean. Everything from the second Avatar movie, a little bit in the first, but mostly the second. Obviously, The Abyss, Titanic. He's, taken submersibles to the bottom of the ocean. He's been down to the Titanic wreck multiple times before. The guy's clearly obsessed with all things the sea. So it shouldn't really surprise you that one of the movies he put out in 1989 was it's kind of a hard movie to describe because The Abyss is a lot of things. It's a sci-fi movie. It's a movie about a husband and wife and their relationship. It's a drama. It's a mystery. And it's, I think, more than anything, a thriller. Something that The Abyss handles really well is its intensity. It's about a crew that mans an underwater drilling rig in the Caribbean. And basically, long story short, they are stranded underwater because there's a hurricane on the surface and bad things happen. They encounter alien life. And this movie's really, really, really good. And you're probably wondering, why are you talking about this? And I'm talking about it because this movie went through the same thing that True Lies did, which is that you couldn't find it anywhere for the longest time. You couldn't get it digitally, not available on Blu-ray. And then all of a sudden in the last couple months, you can now buy True Lies on Apple TV or wherever you can buy it. You can now buy The Abyss on all these platforms. It's now streaming on different platforms, same with True Lies. And these are both two really, really good movies that have flown under the radar for a long time for modern audiences because you just can't get them. And now that this is out, I got to talk about it. So long story short, this crew is stranded at the bottom of the ocean, and Ed Harris and Mary Mastrantonio, I might be butchering her last name, but I think that's how it's pronounced. They're a husband and wife who are like on the outs. Their relationship is falling apart. They're essentially about to get divorced, and then they go through all of these troubles underwater. And really everything about this movie is tremendous. And I forgot how polished it is. And it's got these incredible characters. You obviously have the husband and wife. You have Michael Biehn, who gives just an amazing performance as this kind of unhinged Navy SEAL who, because of the nature of the environment and the pressure he's under, and some stuff going on with air pressure and all that stuff, he's starting to like lose it. And there's nuclear weapons involved, and it becomes sort of like a arms race with the Russians. And yeah, this movie is incredibly, it's got like a handful of scenes that are so just like white knuckle intense. And they haven't aged a day. And I think that's something that Cameron has always done well. And he marries his fascination with the water with his love for like cutting edge special effects. And there's a lot of effects in this movie that you would later see in Terminator 2. Even in Terminator 2, he has the entire villain is essentially made of liquid, the liquid metal T-1000. And even in that movie, he finds a way to work, water into it. And yeah, this is a really special movie. If you like intense thrillers with a sci-fi element, this is a great movie. And some of the effects I don't think have aged extremely well. Some of them have, but some of them haven't. So they're a little bit of a mixed bag in that regard. There's not a lot of personality to the aliens per se. But yeah, Cameron handles this movie really, really well. It looks fantastic. The digital transfer is great. They did all the right things with it. And it's a bit long. The like director's cut weighs in about 3 hours. And but yeah, totally worth it. If you haven't seen The Abyss, it's one of those just complete gems that a lot of people missed out on or don't even know about because of the time period it came out and because you just couldn't get access to it. So if you haven't seen it, I can't recommend it enough. As far as like where I would rank it amongst Cameron's films, I mean, all of his movies are great. So I would probably put this one somewhere in the middle. It's not Terminator 2 and it's not Aliens. But when you consider the hot streak he was on at the time, this movie stands with those films. And I think that's a testament to the power of his filmmaking. So it's when you look at how many movies he put out in such a short amount of time between T2, Aliens, True Lies, and this. It's a bummer that he takes such time to put out movies now. And really, he's just so invested in the Avatar films and really getting that technology where he wants it to be. And those movies are really, really good. It's just disappointing that he hasn't had a chance to put out more movies. I'd say between True Lies in '94, or I'd say Titanic in '98, and the modern day. So, but the stuff he puts out is always good. So that is one thing I like about Cameron's work. So The Abyss, if you've seen it, if you like it, if you have comments about it, hit me up down below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.